Okay, so I am going to answer the journal questions again because I just feel like there was a big change yesterday. I mean, I guess it wasn't that big, but yeah, anywho. Okay, so question 1 is, what did the government announce, declare, or implement today? Does it make sense? How does it impact your life? Why or why not? And how did your family respond? So, yesterday, the governor of Michigan sent out like one of those emergency alerts and also announced that we are still in like social distancing restrictions, guidelines, whatever, until April 30th. So they extended it for the rest of the month. I feel like I just kind of already expected that, just with the national guidelines, and like other states are already doing it until like May, like the beginning of May. So I just assumed we would like tag on to that. So yeah, I guess it makes sense. We're also hitting peak weeks in this state, so I would say it makes sense. Does it impact your life? Yes, it's just like longer that I can't go back to work. But I would say that's like really the only impact, other than like not seeing my family for longer periods of time. But that was already going on. So the response was just kind of like expected, I guess. I don't know. So what is open in your neighborhood and what is closed? So what's open right now is still like everything that I said before. Like a lot of restaurants have since closed and stopped doing takeout, but still a lot of restaurants are doing takeout and delivery. So like drugstores, grocery stores, those are still open, and gas stations. But I know there's going to be a restriction on like buying non-essential items. Like there's posts going around on Walmart where like Walmart was like blocking off like clothes, electronics, stuff like that, because they're deemed non-essential. So I would say stuff is open, but there's going to be like a lot more restrictions, and then pretty much everything else is closed. What does my neighborhood look like? Are people walking around? So pretty much same as before. I feel like people are still walking around. I just kind of take MJ at different times though, but I still see people like out walking, especially if it's nice. The weather's been kind of like iffy here, so like if it's nice out, I'll see people walking. And then at certain times, like MJ and I go out around lunchtime, so people are eating and not like taking their dogs for walks and stuff like that. So we just go out at different times, and I've kind of gotten pretty good at that, just because now they're saying that you might, like, if somebody's walking in front of you, or if I'm walking in front of somebody and I like cough or whatever, and they like then walk through that, they're saying you could potentially catch it that way. But MJ is a German Shepherd, and just in the neighborhood, it's a lot of elderly people and small dogs, and they think my dog is going to eat theirs when she just wants to play and she's not. But yeah, so that's what my neighborhood looks like. Question number 4. How is today different from yesterday for you, your family, your nation, and the world? So I'll just kind of answer this like I did before. For me, I guess the last couple days have been like the biggest changes. I filed for unemployment, and that was a hot mess. I got denied, and then I tried calling literally 30 times the next day. You can't get through on the phones, period. I had to wait on a chat for literal hours. So anywho, it finally got approved, so that's like a huge sigh of relief for me, that I can like continue to pay my bills. And then with the, is it a stipend or like extra money that they're getting, it's not like I don't have to budget so much more carefully. like I'm on my normal income essentially right now. So that's helpful to me. So that's how I guess the last few days have changed. And then question number 5, do you see any examples of racism, privilege, and income inequality in any of the events that happen? Yeah, definitely a whole lot of privilege. Like, I was able to get through to unemployment because I was able to sit at home on my computer for, I think it was 3 hours that I waited, like literally staring at my computer, just to get somebody to like get onto the chat because they have such long wait periods. Because like I mentioned, you cannot get through on the phones. I called 30 times and it was either a busy signal or it went to like this automated message and then hung up on you. So you literally cannot get through on the phone. So like unless you have a computer that you can file on, B, like internet access and you can just sit on your computer, like you can't get through to unemployment and you literally just have to hopefully get through on the phones, and that's a nightmare. Like you won't get through. So I think that's definitely like the biggest change, or what I've noticed. Like that's a huge privilege that I just get to sit home and stare at my computer for somebody to answer, as frustrating as it is. If I was somebody who didn't have those things, like I would be so much more upset and frustrated, especially like if my stuff was denied and I couldn't get through, even though they said they were going to go through and change it, I would personally be like freaking out. So that's just something that I noticed within like the past week that I've had to like actually deal with. Question number 6, did you see anything that gave you hope today, anxiety, and fear? In person, in the news, or on social media? So hope, yes, just that I was able to get through with my unemployment and I don't have to like, I guess, have the concern about bills anymore. That would be like my biggest sign of hope. Anxiety and fear, I guess I knew the extension was coming, but also like not knowing when I get to go back to work, that's still like, I would say number 1. And then I noticed like I go in waves, like certain days I'll be totally fine and other days like I'll be really sad and kind of depressed and stuff. So it's just kind of like taking it day by day for me. And then news and social media. I haven't been watching a ton of news. I just kind of like, I wanted to see if there was going to be an extension, so like I'll check that. And then I have a couple podcasts that I listen to about the news like that's going on, just in general, and I listen to those like before. So I would say nothing really changed in how like I'm doing that. But social media is kind of negative, but I've been trying to find like pages or apps that make me happier, like keep my mind off of it. So number 7, what does your family need today that you might not have enough of, or have access to acquire? We're still good. Both of our like parent families are still good. I'm still struggling to like find certain stuff in stores. Now I know with the extension there, everyone just like went crazy and bought a bunch of stuff again. But just like certain things I was still having a hard time finding, just as it got closer to, like as the guidelines changed, like with peak weeks, I found it harder to find more things again that way. But we have everything still and we're doing okay. And then number 8, what do you and your family have that others may need? Oh, there were birds outside. Or geese or something. I don't know. Oh, and there's a squirrel. We've got all the critters going. But we have, I would say, just again, stability, and then I would say access to privilege as well. Like, I was talking to my stepmom, and about unemployment, because I made a Facebook post and I was like, how did anybody get through? Because I was denied and I was just getting really frustrated with the situation. So she called me and I told her that I finally got through, but it was like hours later, and like a lot of people don't have access to that stuff. So I would just say like our privileges that we have, and our stability is still something that like a lot of people I feel like don't have right now, or like struggling to maintain. So those are the 8 questions. I don't know when I'll do another one. I guess when things just keep changing and like I want to remember them. So yeah.